Noam Chomsky, a renowned linguist and political activist, has been a staunch critic of American foreign policy for decades. His seminal work, published in 1969, stands as a searing indictment of the Vietnam War and the intellectuals who lent their support to this ill-fated conflict. Chomsky's analysis remains strikingly relevant today, offering a powerful lens through which to examine contemporary issues of power, propaganda, and the role of intellectuals in shaping public opinion. This essay delves into the core arguments presented in Exploring Chomsky's Critique of the Vietnam War, the concept of new mandarins, and the enduring relevance of his insights in the 21st century. Through a meticulous examination of historical context and contemporary examples, this essay aims to shed light on the complexities of power dynamics and the importance of critical thinking in challenging dominant narratives. Chomsky's work serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of dissent in a democratic society. His insights are as pertinent today as they were during the tumultuous era of the Vietnam War, urging us to critically examine the narratives presented to us and to question the justifications given for military interventions and foreign policy decisions. By understanding Chomsky's arguments, we can better equip ourselves to navigate the complexities of the modern world and to engage in informed and responsible citizenship. Chomsky's centers around a scathing critique of the Vietnam War, a conflict that deeply divided American society and left an indelible mark on the nation's psyche. Chomsky argues that the Vietnam War was not simply a strategic blunder, but a profound moral and political failure. He meticulously dissects the justifications offered by the US government for its intervention in Vietnam, exposing the flawed assumptions, misleading rhetoric, and outright fabrications used to garner public support for the war. Chomsky challenges the dominant narrative of the United States as a benevolent force protecting the free world from communist aggression, arguing instead that the war was driven by imperial ambitions and a desire to maintain American hegemony in Southeast Asia. The human cost of the Vietnam War was staggering. Millions of Vietnamese civilians were killed or displaced, and the country was left devastated by years of bombing and warfare. Chomsky highlights the devastating impact of the war on Vietnamese society, drawing attention to the atrocities committed by all sides and challenging the notion of American exceptionalism. Chomsky's analysis of the Vietnam War serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked militarism, the seductive nature of propaganda, and the importance of holding leaders accountable for their actions. A central theme in Chomsky's analysis of the Vietnam War is the concept of manufacturing consent. Chomsky argues that the US government, aided by a compliant media and a complicit intellectual class, systematically misled the American public about the nature and goals of the war. He exposes the ways in which propaganda was used to demonize the enemy, inflate the threat of communism, and create a climate of fear and paranoia that made it easier to justify military intervention. Chomsky argues that the media, far from acting as a watchdog, played a key role in shaping public opinion in favor of the war. Through selective reporting, biased framing, and the uncritical repetition of official pronouncements, the media helped to create a distorted picture of the conflict, downplaying American casualties and exaggerating the successes of the war effort. Chomsky's analysis of the media's role in the Vietnam War remains relevant today as we grapple with the challenges of disinformation, propaganda, and the influence of corporate media conglomerates. His work serves as a reminder of the importance of media literacy, critical thinking, and seeking out diverse perspectives. Chomsky introduces the term new mandarins to describe the liberal intellectuals who provided ideological cover for the Vietnam War. These intellectuals, often affiliated with prestigious universities and think tanks, used their positions of influence to legitimize the war and to discredit its critics. They argued that the United States had a moral obligation to contain communism, that the war was winnable, and that those who opposed it were naive, unpatriotic, or even treasonous. Chomsky argues that the new mandarins, despite their claims to objectivity and intellectual rigor, were ultimately serving the interests of power. They were, in effect, the new mandarins of the American empire, providing intellectual justification for its expansion and its interventions abroad. Chomsky's critique of the new mandarins is particularly relevant today, as we witness the rise of a new generation of intellectuals who are willing to lend their credibility to questionable foreign policy adventures, from the neoconservatives who championed the Iraq War to the liberal interventionists who support regime change in countries like Syria and Libya. The new mandarins continue to play a significant role in shaping public opinion and legitimizing military intervention. Section 5. Echoes of Vietnam, Contemporary Relevance. While focuses on the Vietnam War, Chomsky's analysis has far-reaching implications that extend well beyond the historical context of the 1960s. Chomsky argues that the dynamics of power, propaganda, and intellectual complicity that he identifies in the context of the Vietnam War are not unique to that conflict, but are rather enduring features of American foreign policy. He contends that the United States has consistently sought to maintain its global dominance through a combination of military force, economic coercion, and ideological manipulation. Chomsky points to a number of historical and contemporary examples to support his argument, from the overthrow of democratically elected governments in Latin America during the Cold War to the more recent interventions in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya. In each case, Chomsky argues, the United States has justified its actions by invoking noble ideals such as spreading democracy and protecting human rights, while in reality its primary motivation has been to advance its own strategic interests and to maintain its position of global hegemony. Chomsky's analysis is particularly relevant today, as the United States grapples with the challenges of a rapidly changing world order. Section 6. The Power of Ideas, Challenging the Narrative. Chomsky's work is a testament to the power of ideas and the importance of challenging dominant narratives. Chomsky's critique of American foreign policy is rooted in a deep skepticism of power and a belief in the importance of dissent. He argues that it is essential to question the narratives presented to us by those in positions of authority and to seek out alternative perspectives. Chomsky's own work is a model of critical thinking, rigorous scholarship, and a willingness to speak truth to power. He draws on a wide range of sources, including government documents, historical records, and the work of other scholars and activists, to construct his arguments. Chomsky's writing is often complex and demanding, but it is also deeply engaging and thought-provoking. He has a rare ability to make complex ideas accessible to a wide audience, and his work has inspired generations of activists, scholars, and concerned citizens to question the status quo and to work for a more just and equitable world. Chomsky's legacy is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming power, it is possible to challenge dominant narratives, to expose injustice, and to inspire others to action. Section 7. Chomsky's Legacy, a Call to Action. Chomsky's work is not merely a critique of American foreign policy, it is a call to action. Chomsky believes that ordinary citizens have a responsibility to hold their leaders accountable and to work for a more just and equitable world. He argues that it is not enough to simply be aware of injustice. We must also be willing to act to challenge it. Chomsky's own life is a testament to this belief. He has been a tireless advocate for social justice, peace, and human rights for over 6 decades. He has spoken out against war, oppression, and exploitation in all its forms, and he has inspired countless others to do the same. Chomsky's work reminds us that change is possible, but it requires courage, commitment, and a willingness to speak truth to power. Chomsky's legacy is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming power, it is possible to challenge dominant narratives, to expose injustice, and to inspire others to action. Section 8. Conclusion. A time for critical thinking. In conclusion, Noam Chomsky stands as a timeless critique of American foreign policy and the role of intellectuals in a society dominated by power. Chomsky's analysis of the Vietnam War, the concept of manufacturing consent, and the complicity of the new mandarins remain strikingly relevant in the 21st century. as we navigate a world grappling with complex geopolitical challenges, marked by information warfare and the pervasive influence of power. Chomsky's insights serve as a stark reminder of the importance of critical thinking, dissent, and holding those in power accountable. Chomsky's work is a call to action, urging us to question the narratives presented to us, to seek out alternative perspectives, and to engage in informed and responsible citizenship. By heeding his warnings and embracing his call for critical engagement, we can strive to create a more just, equitable, and peaceful world. Section 9, Bibliography, Chomsky, Noam, Pantheon Books, 1969.